I've met a lot of rich people, and rich people are not wealthy people, okay? Wealthy people are people whose money is making money. Rich people are people who have a lot of things that are depreciated, okay? Rich is having a lot of money, and that money's dying, and you're spending it and wasting it. A rich person loses their source of income and will be bankrupt. A wealthy person doesn't need to work anymore. I'm 23 and have $100,000 to invest and don't have a clue about the market. Should I use a financial advisor? Charles Schwab, by the way.
Welcome BOOMSH.
And you can if you want. I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I mean, at 23, you might as well just, set up take the $100,000, put it in an account, a high yield savings account, so you're making money. Hey, let me show you a little trick here. This is going to blow your mind. I'm not a financial advisor. It's pretty easy to see that, okay? But if I was a financial advisor and somebody came to me at 23 years old with $100,000 right now and said, I don't know what to do, and I wasn't making any commission off of them, you know what I would tell them to do? I need to do those, some of those financial guys where they use caller questions. They're like, I'm 23 with $100,000. What should I do? And then do a little answer. I don't know. I'm not going to ask your specific situation because I don't care. That's not true. I do care. But if I say that, then people don't get mad at me and be like, this guy's a grifter. Okay? If a 23-year-old came to me right now with $100,000, I'd leave my wife for her. But if it was a guy, I would say, okay, you're 23 with $100,000. No investing experience. What do I do? Well, obviously, $100,000 is not enough money to do with. But let me tell you something. This is going to blow your mind. Do you know that less than half of 40-year-olds have $100,000 in their retirement accounts? Less than half of people over the age of 40 or in their 40s have over $100,000 in their retirement accounts. And it's only going to get worse. If they do, inflation's eating them alive, right? They're 20 years from retirement. They need to make 1,000%, okay? But here's the thing. All that. If somebody walked up to me and said, Stocky, you can roll your 401k into crypto IRA and trade without paying capital gains tax. Yeah, somebody probably did that in 2021 too. Okay, if somebody was 23 and said, Stocky, you have $100,000. I don't have any experience in investing. I know that this is a windfall. It's an inheritance. I want to put it away. I want to just work my normal life and let this do what I can. But I don't know anything about the market, right? I don't have experience or I'm scared. What if this is the top, right? What do I do, right? This is $100,000. Well, first of all, you're 40 years away from retiring. Well, probably not if you already have 100,000, but either way, whatever. Here's what I would do. I would say, you know what? Forget that you have it. You're going to take that $100,000 and you are going to put it in a 5% high yield savings account. Stocky, that's stupid. 5% is right now. Hold on. Why would you put it there? Because you're going to leg into the market. Because we might be at the top of the market. And the market might do this next year. Or the market might do this. Or the market might do this. You don't know. So why lump sum it here? So here's what I would do. I would take that $100,000. I would put in a 5% high yield savings account. And from that high yield savings account, I would have $5,000 every week. Or not every week, every 2 weeks. So, bi-weekly and bi-monthly are the same thing. What a stupid language. Bi-weekly and bi-monthly mean the exact same thing. Even though one is 2 weeks and one is half a month. Now, if you're talking about from payroll perspective, paying out checks, it's different. It's, twice a month or every 2 weeks. So either 24 checks or 20 or an extra check if you're doing it bi-weekly because there's 52 weeks or whatever. But when you're talking about the actual English language and you're talking about from a calendar, not from payroll, if I say bi-weekly, it means every 2 weeks or twice a month. By technically, over the course of a year, it's a little different. But if I'm talking month over month, it doesn't mean, if I say, there's 52 weeks. So obviously, if you add it up, there's going to be an extra 2 weeks at the end of the year. So it adds one extra paycheck. But from just the cut and dry, it means every 2 weeks or twice a month. No, I didn't mean bi-weekly, like buy something weekly. Is that like a bisexual? $5,000 per, this is an annual thing, right? So you're saying to yourself, well, Stocky, that doesn't make any sense. Well, hear me out, okay? Hear me out. You can, depending on the account, some accounts accrue the interest weekly, monthly, some at the end of the year. Depends on the account you have. You can do this, and all the while, you're taking $5,000 per month, right? Per month, I was going to say bi-weekly, but then I realized that's going to eat up the whole 100,000 in 1 year. So you can do that too if you want. So it's up to you. 5K per month or 5K every 2 weeks, whatever you want. Okay. And you're going to do what's called an auto buy. You're going to buy VOO or VTI, which is a total market S&P ETF with Vanguard, so you don't get eaten alive by fees. Because if you go to JP Morgan or Schwab or whatever, they're going to put your money in the exact same thing. They're going to keep the dividend, and they're going to charge you as much as 1 to 2% broken up quarterly, meaning they're going to eat 1/4 to 0.5% of whatever your balance is every single 3 months, compounding until it's all gone. Okay, why? They're doing the exact same thing you could do, and they're probably going to keep the divvy because they're making double the money. And if they're giving you 1% of management fee, it's because they're eating the divvy anyways. That you get to have a 0.03%, and the divvy pays 1.1%, so you're actually making 3,000% higher return on the dividend than you're paying in a management fee anyways, but that just washes itself out. So you do that. And so the reason I say that you're going to put it in a high yield savings account is that way you carry a balance in there, so that money is making money for you, all the while that money is slowly going directly from this, right, to auto buy this every 2 weeks or 1 month. And that way, if the market is crashing and this is the top, well, guess what? You're the smartest guy in the world because you didn't buy the top. You bought the dip because now you bought here, but you're also buying all this every 2 weeks, every month. So that way, when the market does gap back up, you're up 100% when everyone else is breaking even, or you're up 50% when everyone's breaking even. If the market stays flat, well, guess what? You're at least collecting income on the cash while it's directly getting auto bought into the market. But what if the market goes here, Stocky? I should have just dumped it all here and I would have made so much more money. You don't know what's going to happen. But at least you're buying on the way up, so every one of these buys is making money on the way up. All the while, this isn't dying in a savings account, in a cash account, because it's in a high yield savings account. 5% every month is 60% a year. No, this is a yearly interest rate, sir. So whatever balance he carries at the end of the year, it's 5%. If it's monthly, they don't. Sir, please tell me you're trolling. Do you think that a 5% APY interest rate, when I say it pays out the interest monthly, you think they're paying out monthly? They break this up into 12 and then pay that out. He's not trolling. Chad is about 75% morons. You said per month. No, I said you're taking out $5,000 per month from the $100,000. 5% is what the yield on a yearly yield on a high yield savings account is. I'm a moron, but I knew this. I just wanted to stun lock you. And the reason I say now's a great time to do it is because everyone is talking about the Fed dropping rates and cutting rates, right? And so the yields are going to go down too. A lot of this is customer acquisition, but the more the Fed talks about no rate cuts or pushing off rate cuts, the longer the opportunity is for this to stay at a high interest rate. So you're getting a better opportunity. It's like when I was screaming at you guys. Remember when I-bonds were at 9%? And I was screaming at you guys, take $10,000 and put it in that 9.68% because you're not going to keep this. Once the Fed started cutting rates, there was no way that this was going to last. And a lot of you guys did that. And I'm so proud of you. Why not put it in a treasury? Sir, let me ask you a question. What happens if I take $100,000 and I put it in a treasury for, let's say, a 2-year treasury, okay? Not only am I only getting 3.6%, but what happens the moment that first $5,000? Oh, wait, I can't take the $5,000 out because it's locked in. You could, but then you got to sell the treasury that you have and it doesn't have as much time on it. And it's probably going to sell for less than you paid for it. A high yield savings account is paying more than this and you have liquidity. You can access the liquidity anytime. That's why he's doing the direct buy from there. He's setting up auto buy from a high yield savings account to buy shares at increments. So he's legging in. So if the market drops, perfect. He's the luckiest guy in the world because he started buying at the top and buying all the way down. And if it just keeps mooning, he's adding on the way up, all the while his capital is making money at the same time. Any other reason to choose a money market account over a CD aside from the liquidity? Because CDs, other than, the fact that they don't pay out compared to what the normal market is gonna give you. CDs were always great because they were safe, but they were low risk, low return. Right now, high yield savings accounts are paying out more than CDs. Okay, and if you don't agree or if you don't believe me, just go to your bank, your local bank, and ask them. Okay, ask them about CDs. you know? And if you can't get to a bank, go to the other room and ask your mom, because she sees these nuts every night. Got him! All right, but seriously, yeah, there you go. I know everybody was waiting for it. I almost had it once. I had to reset it up, so that's my bad. My mom is blind? Yeah, that's my bad, dude. I've been storing up for a while. I didn't realize it was going to shoot that hard. Okay, but yeah, so if somebody came to me with no information, just said, give me the quickest piece of advice you would say for a 23-year-old with $100,000 who wants to get into investing in the market right now. I don't know if this is the top. I'm a little bit scared, but I don't want to miss out on gains. So, I don't want to do that. Also, I'm not ready for real estate right now. What's the best option? I would say $100,000, put all of it in a 5% high yield savings account and have auto buy monthly or bi-weekly on VU or VTI, transferring directly from here, and forget about it. That's what I would do, okay? Fill up your Roth IRA first, if you can. It's only $7,000. It's up to $7,000 this year now. And then, contribute to, an HSA if you can. And, obviously your 401k is going to come directly from your paycheck, so that's on you. But this is probably going to go into a taxable brokerage account, okay? If you want to be riskier, you could always do the same thing, maybe with less money or same money but less frequently, into like QQQ if you want to run NASDAQ. If you think the Russell has to gap up, you could always do IWM. You could mix it up between whatever. You could buy divvy stocks. You could buy whatever. I generally think, though, if you're 23, forget this money even exists. Put it in the high-yield savings account and just have it go out. Because you don't want to leave it in the high-yield savings account for 2-3 years because rates are going to come down by then, and the market will either be down or outpace it by then. But have it leg in, but while it's legging in, allow it to make money on your money. Because let me tell you something, okay? I've met a lot of rich people. And rich people are not wealthy people, okay? Wealthy people are people whose money is making money. Rich people are people who have a lot of things that are depreciated, okay? Rich is having a lot of money, and that money's dying, and you're spending it and wasting it. A rich person loses their source of income and will be bankrupt. A wealthy person doesn't need to work anymore. A rich person has to work to keep the lifestyle. A wealthy person doesn't. 80% of NBA and NFL players are bankrupt or broke within 5 years of retirement. That's rich. Somebody can make $100 million in 10 years. Leave the league, and 5 years later, they're bankrupt or broke. Maybe it's not 80% anymore. Maybe it's like 60%. Because nowadays, I think people are learning. People talk. But remember, people used to be so scared of talking about this stuff. But rich is just having a lot of money or assets. But they're depreciating assets. The leagues offer them financial advice now. Sir, this is a 100% true story. There is a member of this community, I don't know if they're still here, I haven't talked to him in a while, that played for a NHL team. Was drafted at 18. Okay? Played for the NHL. When they were drafted, their bonus check and their sign bonus and everything like that, they were told by their team to talk to the team's financial management partners. In 2021, when the market was going absolutely nuts, I asked this individual to please let me know what they were making. Do you want to know how much money they made from 2020 to 2021? Well, in the 5 years that they had been with the team, do you know how much money that his money had made? Negative $12,000. You know how much the S&P or VU was up in that 5 years? You tell me how he made negative $12,000 when the market was up 68,000 or 68%. Because they put him in a low risk, low movement, safe investment and ate him alive on quarterly fees. If he would have just put his money in VU and forgotten about it, he would have been 68% wealthier instead of negative 12,000. Yeah, it was something like 0.75% a quarter he was paying too. Because they probably convinced him that he was going to make a lot more money in the league, that this was just a small-term nest egg. Give it to us. We'll keep it safe. That way the market's volatile, and they sold him on the fact that if it falls, he won't lose all his money like other players. Probably used an example of a player that lost money in 2008 or 2018 or something like whatever. Remember, everyone is out there. No one's doing for free, guys. The whole reason finance and money and economics is difficult and scary and complicated is by design. You're supposed to think it's complicated and scary and confusing. That way you give other people who sound like they know what they're doing, your money, and they make money off of your money regardless of what the market does. If the market goes up, they're going to tell you, look what we did for you. If the market goes down, they'll be like, oh, it's just part of the market. You'll see that everybody's dealing with this. But they're still collecting their management fee the whole time. But you do it for free? No, I don't. You pay me $5 a month or you watch ads. I ain't doing this for free. This ain't a charity service. Okay? Now, I don't make a lot, but I make enough. You should charge for one-on-ones. What, you want me to charge you to tell you you're an idiot? I can do that without one-on-ones. You have the cheapest signal service? Did you just call me a freaking cheap whore? It's not a signal service. Wait, I actually told my agent that. I said I may be an e-whore, but I'm not a cheap e-whore. Speaking of which, tomorrow's stream was supposed to be sponsored, but it's not anymore. Listen, if you work for a business or a company and you want to sponsor my stream, when I ask you direct questions, answer me, okay? I ain't the one. I ain't gonna shill your product if I'm not, it's not something I would use or I think people would use. Or I can't be honest about it. Don't with me. Don't with me. Especially when you deal with stuff like that. Whatever you do, do your best to get paid for it. Then how come my wife is spending all my money? She ain't earned it in about 6 weeks. I'm paying for all the downtime. I'm getting scammed. Wait, I did marry an Indian though. Oh, speaking of which, I gotta tell y'all a story. Does she know you call her the warden? You don't know what a warden is, right? No, you know what a warden is? What? A jailer? Oh, okay. You know that your name in my phone is Warden, right? Hey, Warden, how come I don't get conjugal visits? What are you laughing at? You don't even know what that means. I know you don't know what that means. You wouldn't even, and if we had one, you wouldn't know what to do. Listen, marriage is just legalized prostitution. Changed my mind. Except I'm getting scammed. What are you laughing at? Should have signed a prenup? Well, technically, my wife made like 3 times what I did when we started dating. And then when we got married, she made twice what I made. ¿Qué pasó, Holmes? I'm gonna be different. I'll be the first one in my class to go to college. I'm gonna make my mama proud. That's right. You patos don't know, man. I'm gonna change the world. Things gonna be different now. My mama gonna be proud. I'm gonna send money back and we're gonna get out of this town. This barrio no more. Hey, man. That's right. That's right. You see that smile? That's promise right there, man. That's promise. That's a man who believes. A man who gonna change. Gonna make a name for the family. Mi nombre es diferente. See, you know, it's gonna be good.